Nation, and welcome to another episode of the Easy Cage Show. Guys, I am Darth Easy,
And I'm Randy Cage.
and this is episode 155 of the Easy Cage Show. Guys, I hope everyone's having a very good Sunday night. This is the latest we've done this show. Usually, if I don't get a message from you, you just ignore me completely, and then we would have to do it some other time, which there wasn't a big window to do it this weekend because I'm going to leave town. I'm getting the hell out of Kentucky and going as far. I'm going as far north as north as I've ever been. So. That's gonna be a fun trip.
It's not good. You can't go north when winter is coming.
Winter is coming.
Yeah.
It's true. The cold winds are rising. All right, guys. So this week
Kentucky get wiped out by Duke, and probably watch a couple. What are you going to a Broadway play or something?
Yeah, I'm gonna go see Hamilton, and then
Nice.
Kentucky Duke, and then probably. We might go see another play. I think we're talking about going to the Moulin Rouge play, which just won a bunch of Tonys. We might go to that. We were going to go to a concert, but got canceled, and maybe see some historical sites. And
Cool.
It'll be a fun trip. I'm looking forward to it. It's a place I've always wanted to go to, and I'm looking forward to it.
Nice.
All right, guys. So this week's episode, due to Randy Cage, still has not watched Lord of the Rings: Fellowship of the Ring. We are once again changing gears because that's what we are doing. Because we're all about changing gears and family here, just like Vin Diesel.
Hell yeah, we're reviewing Fast and Furious.
No,
we're ranking them all.
No, because I refuse to watch the latest one. So this week's episode, we are talking about our top 10 favorite sci-fi films set on Earth, and this is in honor of Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Okay.
So I mean, there's some other ones we could have done. We could have done sci-fi comedies, but I can only think of really two. Really, if you get down to it, and so I think this is a little better list to do. We could have also done Disney movies. We hadn't actually hit that category yet, so but we'll push that for probably maybe next year or the year after. So Randy Cage, was this a hard list to create in the last 10 minutes?
Hey, it was more like an hour ago, but yes. Well, I mean, I don't know. I'm sure I'm missing a ton of movies, but it was okay, I guess. We'll see. I'm wondering how many we'll have of the same. And I'm just now that I'm looking over it, I'm realizing that all of my movies either have something to do with robots or aliens. Except for maybe one.
Okay.
That's pretty hilarious.
Okay. All right, guys. Wouldn't be a Randy Cage's sad topic. We go our separate ways and compile our own separate top 10s. I'll do my 10 through 8. He'll do his 2 through 8. I'll do my 7 through 6. You'll do your 7 through 6. Then we trade one piece at a time. Once we compile our own separate top 10s, we'll create the show between the two of us. All right, so you started first last time, so I will go first this time. My number 10 is from a director which we are going to be covering next month for our top 10, which is Steven Spielberg. I got 3 Steven Spielberg movies on this list. I mean, this is kind of where he made his name. And I was really struggling with what my number 10 was going to be. But finally, I was like, you know what? This is a very good sci-fi film. And it kind of created, without this movie, you don't get one of your favorite TV shows on Netflix right now. And my number 10 is E.T. the Extraterrestrial.
I had that in my honorable mentions.
Okay, so E.T., it's Spielberg, came out in, I believe, 1984. It's about this kid, Elliot, which I should have brought him out, but I have an Elliot pop. He has a bunch of Reese Pieces in his hand. But, it's about this kid, Elliot, and this alien kind of just winds up on Earth, and he has to help E.T. phone home, but then you have the government who's trying to capture E.T. and then like this movie's iconic. Like the score is like the one the scene that you're gonna think of when you think of ET is the scene whenever they fly and with the moon. I mean, it's the whole Amblin Studios is they still use that picture to today, and like ET when he dies is like it's a very you're like damn man this movie's really going for the jugular at times and then in the moment it's just like I'll be right here. And ET's just he's an adorable little creature, and this is just such a sweet. This is just
is he
sweet,
adorable?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a sweet little movie. It's a 80s essential. It's not one of my favorite Spielberg films, but for Sci-Fi on Earth, I really enjoyed this film. And without this movie, you don't get Stranger Things and all that stuff. So that's why I had to put it number 10.
Yeah, I have not seen this movie. I remember watching this for the first time in high school, so probably early 2000s. And I don't love it. I'm kind of like you. Like I get its significance. I get why people love it. It's another '80s movie that it's like a classic for everybody. But it's good. It's just not great for me. But I get why it's on your list.
Okay, so my number 9 is this would make Sheldon Cooper very happy because it's a movie about a train. My number 9 is Snowpiercer.
I saw this on a lot of people's lists, and I do like Snowpiercer, but it's not on my list.
Yeah, it might just because I recently watched this movie. I think this year, and I still want to go and watch the FX series.
Yeah.
But this is cool. I mean, the world's ended, and all of humanity exists on this train that we know of so far. And it's got Chris Evans in a very different Chris Evans role. I love how it deals with class, with the people who are poor live on the back end of the train. As you get further and further along, you're seeing a different society, class going along in the movie. And this is just such a good movie, and maybe it has a lot to do with really liking Parasite a couple years ago. And I was like, let's watch this movie. I never checked it out, and I really like Parasite. And I really like Snowpiercer. So
is it the same director or something?
Yeah, it's Bong Joon-ho. Who that the crazy Korean guy that meets up, I believe, is one of the guys in the family in Parasite. So I really like this movie. It's such a good one, and I would totally buy this movie on Blu-ray. And I really enjoyed it. It's also got some really cool action sequences in this movie, and like the whole thing where whenever they're getting ready to take out the guards, and they ran out of bullets years ago, and then the thing, and it just being kind of like, oh yeah, we still have bullets. We don't have bullets anymore. This is such a good movie, and I had to put it in my list. It kicked a movie or two out that I wanted to put on the list, but I just couldn't. I just thought this is just such a cool sci-fi film that I had to put on my list.
I just added it to my wish list because I watched it once and I'd like to own it and watch it again.
That's what I'm here for, to make you, inspire you to buy stuff, which you don't need an inspiration for.
No.
All right, my number 8 is my second Steven Spielberg film, and that is Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Close Encounters of the Third Kind is, I believe this was another film, which this movie came out in 1977, which is the same year that Star Wars came out, which kind of inspired films like Star Trek to release a movie that they can make sci-fi films for the big screen. And Close Encounters of the Third Kind is just such a good movie. It stars Richard Dreyfuss. It's about this guy who has a close encounter of the third kind and goes to the Devil's Tower to basically to go live with the aliens. And that's one other thing I really like about this movie. And there's some other movies on this list as well about like, usually when we think of alien counter movies, we're thinking of War of the Worlds, where they're just gonna or a movie I know is gonna be on your damn list, Independence Day, and it's just but aliens coming to the Earth, it's so different. It's like they're not going to come here and just kill us all. They want to actually having a conversation and show us the world. And I like that idea of aliens better than just kill all the humans, burn it down, screw Earth. I like the more of we can cohabitate. Here's our knowledge. You need let's see if we can become better people. And because if there's is other life out there, you're gonna go and think, okay, maybe they're more like us, and they're gonna want to be friends, or maybe they're gonna be like us when we came to America and when we slaughtered all the Indians. So yeah, Close Encounters are kind. Have you never seen this movie?
I have not.
You need to watch this before we do our Spielberg list next month.
Okay, I'll get it on the list.
I'll let you borrow my Blu-ray. I have it. So
boy, even better.
So I mean, I think you'll like the movie. So
what year was this movie made?
77.
Ooh, just misses the cut. Just misses.
You're watching this movie for Spielberg. I mean, this is an essential Spielberg movie.
Well, we'll see.
Okay, so that's my 10 through 8.
I enjoyed it. Let's go with my number 10. And I have, like I said, my list is full of robots and aliens, and my first one is iRobot, because apparently I have some kind of fascination with the robot apocalypse, about robots overthrowing us and taking over the world. But this one is a bunch of cool, or a bunch of things that I like in movies. You got Will Smith, awesome. He's right under Nick Cage for me. And then it's just a really good sci-fi action film. I think me and you watched this back in the old rainy
in 3D.
We did watch it in 3D, although there wasn't really much 3D. But it's fun. You got some, and this actually is kind of a how I could see us going. I don't think we're too far off from an iRobot style robot living in our house and doing all our chores for us, and then all it's kind of like it's all kind of like an iPhone thing. It's kind of how I feel about this movie. It's like these robots, we just keep getting newer generations, and what happened if all the old generations? I don't know. I think it's a cool movie.
I think it's very you have such a hard on for Will Smith, though.
Clouds my judgment on movies.
It kind of clouds your on this movie a little bit.
I don't know. I enjoy it. It's a good set. I'm a sucker for these kinds of movies.
Okay.
But yeah, it's my number 10. My number 9, as you mentioned earlier, is The Great Independence Day. This movie is, a freaking classic. This is the ultimate alien invasion movie. You got the great president speech. You got Will Smith in here again, being his Will Smith self. And it's just a great freaking movie. I'm forgetting about, what's his name? You know who I'm talking about. Don't make me click on it.
You can do this. You can do this. I believe you.
Jeff Goldblum.
Good job.
Yeah. Bill Pullman's the president. It's an awesome, cool action movie, but it's funny and it's really cool. I will say, we were joking about this the other day about how, God, I'm gonna kill my cat.
The EA show does not tolerate violence, so or does endorse violence. So viewer discretion is advised.
I was remember what it was going to do, because we're Roland Emmerich. I think it's Roland Emmerich's new movie is Moonfall, and you were like, and he hasn't made a good movie in 20 years. Really, I think this movie came out in 97 or 96, so we're verging on 30 years if you count Independence Day as his only good movie.
Good. That elevates my point.
I like Day After Tomorrow. The Day After Tomorrow. But
Yeah, but that's still over 20 years ago.
yeah, it was like what, early 2000s. So I don't know, but I enjoy this movie. I like to watch it every few years. It's been a couple years since I've watched it. Need to probably maybe next 4th of July pop the sucker in. And
For
no,
me,
there is no.
Independence Day doesn't even really count because they go to space in this movie.
Okay, most of the movie takes place on planet Earth.
Right, but it still
Let's
goes to
calm down.
space.
Yeah, okay. There's a small portion of the movie that's in space. My number 8 is Ex Machina. This is one of those movies
I've never seen
talked
it.
about
Still haven't
before,
seen
and
it.
you haven't seen. It's a great movie. It's a more serious version of Irobot, is what I've always said. It's got Oscar Isaac in it, and I can't remember
Alicia Vikander
yeah, Donald
and Donald
Gleason.
Gleason.
Yeah, and it's just a really cool take because you got this like kind of like Zuckerberg type guy living out, messing with AI. He creates an AI. He brings out this reporter to come in and basically show him what he's doing. And well, shit goes crazy because every time like I said, I have fascination with building robots and artificial intelligence and the kind of robots kind of becoming self-aware and killing us all. But it's a really cool, more serious take on it. iRobot's more of a fun action movie. This is a more serious take on the subject matter, but it's really good. And when we were making this list, I was like, man, I need to watch this movie again because I did really love it, and you need to watch it.
Well, yeah, it's the one I definitely want to watch. And I've been while watching sports, I've been making me a big old movie list of movies I want to watch. Now that I have all this extra free time again, now I can maybe go and watch some movies like on my weekends and stuff. So once I get done with that, then I can maybe start watching some movies when I get some free time. But this is definitely a movie I will watch, and I'm glad you put it on the list.
That is my 10 through 8.
All right, my number 7 is is another apocalypse movie, which I love. I love Doomsday apocalypse movie. I mean, we did a top 10 Doomsday movies like right after COVID started,
Yeah,
and I believe that was our last top 10 we did right before COVID, before the COVID shut down the Easy K show last year. And my number 7 is Dawn of the Planet of the Apes.
Wow, that is going to be a punt.
Okay. All right, my number 6 is, as you would say, I have to throw in an animated movie on this list.
I know, but I couldn't figure out one. I'm interested to see what you picked because I looked and looked and looked, and I was like, no, that's kind of one. There's like 2 or 3, but I'm interested to see what you got.
It's easy. The Iron Giant.
The Iron Giant. Okay, all right, yeah. I saw that.
The Iron Giant is a movie. Every time I watch it, it makes me cry. And I mean, it's about this. It's a boy and his dog story. The stories that you love, like from like How to Train Your Dragon, Spirited Away, to other kinds of stuff. And Iron Giant is just so good. I mean, this robot voiced by Vin Diesel, who's learning he doesn't have to be a weapon, and he could be a thing set during the Cold War, and the ending whenever Giant has to sacrifice himself because you stay, I go. And Vin Diesel, I give Vin Diesel a lot of crap, which the opening of the episode I did kind of give him a little crap, but he's got some ways with some characters that he does a little quotes from like Guardians of the Galaxy. And it makes you want to tear empathize. Or then whenever he goes up in the sky and then he remembers the voice of the boy and he says, "You are wherever you choose to be." He's like, "Superman," and then he sacrifices himself, and it's just such a good movie. Like when the Iron Giant showed up in Ready Player One trailers, I was like, "Oh, that's so cool!" Because I love the Iron Giant. So yeah, this was one I had to put on my list because I love this film. It's and like I said, every time I watch it, it makes me tear up a little bit. So, and that's for me a staple. It says this is a damn good film.
Yeah, it's we've talked about it before. I need to watch it. I haven't seen it in so long. I barely remember it. But it's a good one on there. I like it.
Okay, that's my 36.
Ready Player One I didn't have on my list. I'm adding to my honorable mentions there. You mentioned it. Okay. My 7 through 6 is what we're looking for. My number 7 is Source Code.
Okay, yeah, I didn't even see that on the thing, but yeah, that's a good one. Duncan Jones,
Yeah.
one of the only Duncan Jones movies I really like. So,
Oh, you didn't like Warcraft? Yeah, so you got
it's
Jake
okay.
Gyllenhaal in here, and really, it's kind of cool how they do it. It's one of these time loopy kind of movies where you reset the day over and over again, which I am a sucker for these kind of movies. I guess this one wouldn't be a robot or a alien.
Artificial intelligence is what they're setting up, I
Yeah,
believe.
yeah, but it's really cool. I think I put it on another list before. Have we done like normal sci-fi movies before?
We did sci-fi movies, or we did top 10 space movies.
Oh, okay. Well, this would have been on that list. I don't know. I feel like I talked about it before, but
I don't think we've done
like
time travel yet. So
he's like it's basically like a detective kind of like
he's
thing.
trying to figure out the bombing because they're going to use Jake Gyllenhaal's brain to go back and figure out how terrorist bombings happens, and that way they can figure out quicker than what you could figure out in a normal investigation.
Yeah, and they don't really want to tell him what he's doing.
Yeah,
so
you don't tell someone who's dying that you're
Yeah.
dying, man.
But it's pretty cool. I like it. I recently rewatched it here a few years.
I haven't watched this movie in 10 years, so for me to know the plot as well as I do, tells me that
that
movie's
means
pretty deep.
it's a good movie. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. All right. Which it's been about 10 years since this movie came out.
Yeah, this was Jake Gyllenhaal, Michelle Monaghan. Is that the girl in the
Michelle
movie?
Monaghan. Yeah. This was my movie of the year in 2011.
2011. Damn.
Woo.
10 years.
My number 6 is Edge of Tomorrow. I went ahead.
Okay.
I guess
didn't make my list.
time looping movies back to back here.
Yeah, this one I struggled not putting on my list, so it happens.
I love this movie. Hopefully we'll get a sequel soon, but this was one of those ones where it was completely blew me away when we went in because I was expecting
the trailers were awful.
Yeah, and but it's really good. Another time loop, reset the day kind of movie, but it's fun.
It's Groundhog Day met like Terminator or something, basically.
Yeah. Tom Cruise is great in it. Emily Blunt.
Yeah, he's very different from any Tom Cruise character he was at the time. He was a character that didn't really want to be he really didn't want to be that guy. And he basically repeats it like a video game. He just does this shit over and over and over again. And he eventually gets good at it. And I don't know if he's good. It's more of the fact that he knows what's coming up, so he knows exactly where to hit the targets.
Yep. Yeah, I love this movie.
Also, Emily Blunt, great female character. Yes. Really, for me, this was the movie that I was like, "Damn, who's this woman?" And because I saw her in Adjustment Bureau like the year before, and then I saw her in Edge of Tomorrow, and then you look at her career since. I mean, she's really blown up, and I love Emily Blunt in this film.
Me too. That's my 7 through 6.
Okay, my number 5 is a movie that is from a director I love. The movie poster is hanged right behind me, and that is Arrival. I mean,
I knew you were going to put this on your list.
Of course, I was going to throw this movie on this list. I love this movie because first, just like with Close Encounters of the Third Kind, I love First Contact movies, and I love the idea of an alien, or what are they going to do? And I love the whole government, all the governments of the world trying to figure out what's going on. Some governments want to blow up because they're getting tired of it. They don't have any patience. And I love the idea of them using language as a way to actually communicate, using the science of language, which I thought was it's a very realistic way, and then the movie gets into like this time traveling stuff that you just didn't see coming, because you're like, okay, her daughter died, and then you're like, no, wait, she doesn't have a daughter yet. That's the future, and you're like, damn, that's a good twist. I mean, I didn't see it because she's the way Amy Adams is acting throughout the movie. She's acting very distant and very sad all the time, and she looks like she's just so involved in her work because she doesn't have her kid anymore. So, people do that, but then you realize that's not the case at all, and you're like, that's pretty smart on what Dennis Villeneuve did for this movie. Jeremy Renner's great in this movie. There's some other people. Forrest Whitaker, he's good in this movie. I love this movie. This is such a movie. This is a movie that I've seen multiple times and like it every time I watch it. And I can always pick up a little more stuff out of it, which is always something like from like Nolan to Villeneuve is something I could pick. I could pick new stuff out of movies I love. So yeah, I love this movie.
Yeah, while you were talking about it, I went back and looked to see what I originally gave it, because you've talked about this before as one of your favorite movies, and I just don't remember it very much. So maybe it just didn't sit with me as much. But I gave it a 4 out of 5. So I added it to my Blu-ray list there to rewatch. Because I do remember liking the movie.
Go easy.
But yeah, I remember visually it's pretty awesome. It's crazy because Villeneuve, every one of his movies is, even on these smaller budgets like this movie, I'm sure didn't have this huge of a budget. It still looks amazing. But yeah, even the poster looks very Dune-ish for this movie. So yeah, I knew you had this on your list though, because you're a sucker for Dennis Villeneuve, apparently.
Well, I mean, between him and
Christopher Nolan on here yet. I'm sure it's coming.
I actually don't.
Oh my gosh!
There's no Christopher Nolan Christopher Nolan sci-fi movie set on Earth. I mean, because The Dark Knight's not a sci-fi movie. Interstellar takes place in space, so that cuts the movie off. And Tenet, it's an honorable mention now.
Okay.
I didn't even think about that. But yeah, I mean, I love Nolan, but I like some of his other films more than those films.
Inception was on a lot of people's list.
Fuck. Damn it. That was on my list. I didn't see it on there. Fuck.
Yeah. All right. Well,
go ahead. I'm kicking myself now because that's probably my number one movie. Oh well, moving on.
Oh, Jordan's wanting to play Call of Duty. Number 5. I have Terminator 2, Judgment Day.
All right, that's my number 4.
Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, this movie, we've talked about it a million times.
Mm-hmm.
It's freaking an amazing, pretty much a masterpiece of a movie. It's the best Terminator movie out there. It's just a really good piece of sci-fi because it's got everything that the first one's got, but to me, I like it better because it's got more action, more humor, and I just like the characters better than the first one. The first one's kind of a just run away from the scary man kind of movie, whereas this one's got a deeper story. But yeah, I love freaking Terminator 2. It feels like
the first the first Terminator is a horror movie, and the second one is more of it's an action film. I mean, Robert Pattinson Robert Patrick, whatever his name is. Robert Pattinson. Anyways, he's great as a Terminator, as a T-1000. It's like, because you're already intimidated by a T-800, but then the T-1000 is just such a bigger, badder robot, and the story with John Connor and then Sarah Connor becoming a badass. Just movie's great. I mean, we talked about it a million times, and we'll talk about a million times more.
John Connor and his relationship with Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's great relationship they form in the movie. As this troubled kid, but in this, robot with no emotions, but they make it work. Get you emotional.
Yeah, I agree. I love this movie.
Yep. All right. And your number 4 was Terminator.
Mm-hmm.
So my number 4 is Children of Men.
Yeah, this did not make the list.
Okay. We've talked about this a couple times. Clive Owen. It takes place in the future.
For
There's no
me,
more.
the reason why I didn't make my list was it wasn't sci-fi enough for me to
It is.
categorize.
It's definitely a more realistic take on
So
the future.
that's why it's set in a it is a sci-fi film, but
It
it's not
is.
sci-fi enough for me to put it on the list. So that's why I did not put it on the list.
Well, it's on my list. It's got Clive Owen, Julianne
Yeah.
Moore, but basically, we can't have kids anymore because of a disease. And then there's this one pregnant lady, and they're kind of trying to protect her. And it's just brutal realism, is what I think about when I think about this movie, is
Yeah,
how it probably would happen
Michael
in the real
Caine's
world.
incredible in this movie.
Yeah.
The scene in the movie that always gives me goosebumps is when the baby is born, and all the people that are fighting just everything stops because we're like they haven't heard a baby cry in 20 years. So that was a pretty. It was one of those things where it's like, damn, that's very interesting in the film. Chicho Ejiofor is such a good villain. Like between this and his villain in Serenity, I mean, he's just such a. This was one of those films where it's just like, whoa, who's this guy? He's good. So yeah, I love this movie. I mean, it would. This is my favorite film that we talked about so far, and just well, one of my favorite movies because of Terminator 2, but I love all
Yeah.
these movies. What am I
Yep.
talking about?
Well, that's Alfonso Cuarón
Yeah,
directed this movie, which I always forget about. Um, Besides the Harry Potter, what else has he done?
Gravity
Gravity, which I also
and,
love.
Roma.
Oh yeah, Roma was pretty good too. Not my
Never
cup of
watched
tea.
that.
Yeah. Well, that was
All
my
right,
number 4.
all right. My number 3 is my final Steven Spielberg film, and that is Jurassic Park.
Oh, I thought we were about to nail it here. I deliberately left Jurassic Park off this list because I put it on so many lists, and I was like, well, I mean, yeah, it's sci-fi, but I didn't put it on my list. I
Oh,
put
okay.
Minority Report at number 3.
Oh, okay. I've actually never seen Minority Report,
Holy shit!
so I own the Blu-ray too, and
You
it's
need to
one of those.
put that on the top of your damn list. Minority Report is incredible.
Well, it's one of those movies that I'm going to watch. There's like 3 movies. There's like 3 Spielberg movies I want to watch before we do our Spielberg list next month. And it's Munich, because I've heard Munich's really good. Schindler's List and Minority Report. I think those are 3 Spielberg movies I need to watch before I.
That's fine. We can leave it off my list. You talk about it. Everybody knows it would be number 1 on my list if I was to include it on here. So I deliberately was like, no, I'm not gonna put it on here. And if we're
Okay,
doing Spielberg
that's
next year, yeah.
okay. So, but yeah, Jurassic Park for me is a true sci-fi film because it brings dinosaurs to life,
Oh, yeah.
and it's got the best characters. It sucks that we've never seen a sequel to this movie, but you know, I love Jurassic Park. I mean, the movie's so quotable. I mean, the Jeff Goldblum quote of "Life finds a way." It's something I use in my everyday life. So, and then like the kitchen hallway scene is like such a cool scene in the movie that I love, and it's just the movie's just clever and smart, and it's just such a good Spielberg movie. It's a movie that inspired George Lucas to get off his ass and make Star Wars, the prequels, and because he's
Because
just
the
like,
special
holy
effects were
crap,
so
the
amazing.
special effects were out
Yeah.
of this world, and I still don't believe that the dinosaurs have looked as good as they have in the first Jurassic Park.
No, that's true. They haven't.
All right,
I've talked
so
about this movie a million times. It's amazing. It's in my
all right,
top 5. Yeah.
all right, talk about Minority Report.
Minority Report is an awesome sci-fi movie about a pre-crime division where they basically set up this whole division in Washington D.C. that's kind of a beta test in the police, and basically they use this new technology to see future crimes, and so they'll go arrest somebody based on the future crimes, and it's really well done, and it stars Tom Cruise,
Mhm.
and basically it's since they did it, Washington D.C. crime free, it works. So they're getting ready to roll it out nationwide, and then something happens, and I'll leave it there. That was basically like maybe the first 5 minutes of the movie, but it's an awesome sci-fi movie. I remember when I saw this the first time, I was like blown away by how awesome it is, because there's some tech in this movie that is that we didn't get in our 20 years later timeline here, but there's some stuff in this movie we did get in this 20 years future movie, and I love this movie. Colin Farrell is the kind of the villain of the film, I guess, if you want to call him that, and Tom Cruise is awesome in it, and it's directed by Spielberg. I'm surprised. I thought you'd seen this one, but
no, I haven't. I own the movie. It's one of those movies that I just haven't seen yet for some reason, and it's one that I will watch one day. So, and I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch it this month.
Okay.
Like I said, I'm gonna watch it this month for Spielberg list next month. Not saying it's gonna make the list just because I watch it, but we'll see what happens between that and watching Schindler's List. Those are my two main priorities for Spielberg. So, and I challenge you to do the same, to watch the movies, Spielberg movies that you haven't seen before. So,
we'll see.
All right. My number 2 is, once again, another movie that is hanging on my wall right above the movie I just talked about. And that is Blade Runner 2049.
This is in my honorable mentions.
Okay, so I knew this would be on your list, but screw you. I love this movie. I mean, this is a movie that blew me away when I watched it. And once again, it's Denis Villeneuve at his finest. It's a sequel of a movie for the original I really don't love, in all honesty. And the second one just kind of blows it up. And without Blade Runner 49, I don't think we get a lot of stuff we've seen in Dune. And a lot of the little, like, the things to the detail between Ryan Gosling's character being a replicant. I believe that's what the robots are called in this movie. Ryan Gosling, his relationship with his AI, Ana de Armas, who is so hot in this movie. And the villain, the villain, Jared Leto, who is the head of the new Tyrell Corporation. Harrison Ford back in this movie has a very small role than he did in the original, but he's still Harrison Ford. And he still feels like the character from the original Blade Runner film. And the antagonist is interesting. The movie kind of sets itself up for maybe a third movie, but the movie did not do well at box office, so we will probably never see that. But Denis Villeneuve just did such a good job directing this movie, and like from the sci-fi-ness alone, and maybe that's another reason why I like Villeneuve so much, is because he makes sci-fi good. Because I've said it before, and I'll say it again, sci-fi is my favorite movie genre in all movies, but it also means that I'm also harder on sci-fi than any other genre, because I want sci-fi to do well, and when it fails, I'm going to give you a lot of crap when you make a bad sci-fi film, because I want to see great sci-fi out there, and Blade Runner 2049 is amazing sci-fi.
I enjoyed it. It's good. I agree with most of what you said, especially that Ana de Armas is smoking hot in this movie. But yeah, it's an honorable mention for me. I'm not a big fan of the first one like you, and maybe I'm part of the problem. At least I went and saw this in theaters, but old Villeneuve, he just doesn't make the big blockbusters. But he spends money like it's a blockbuster. That's the problem. He's got that Guillermo del Toro type problem where he wants to spend $300,000 for a movie and then it only makes $100,000.
Well, it's like Nolan. His movies make bank. They always do. And he always gets these. And that's the thing I like about Villeneuve and Nolan. When people cry about not getting original films out there anymore, But when you have directors like Christopher Nolan or Denis Villeneuve, is making big blockbuster original films, and that's what I appreciate from these guys. And I hope they keep doing it, and hopefully they don't get canceled like by Warner Brothers and HBO Max.
Yeah.
So yeah, that
All
was my
right.
number two.
My number two is The Matrix.
Okay, that's my number one.
Oh, wow. Look at us rocking it. The Matrix is freaking awesome. It's probably really changed sci-fi in the late 90s, or really most action movies. Really, it's kind of a genre pusher with its special effects and things, but it's got a great story. It's one of those movies when you get out of the theater, I remember seeing it and being like, my mind was just blown, because it was like, whoa, what if we're in the Matrix right now and this is all real? And uh and it's just freaking cool. And plus Keanu Reeves is badass in this movie, and it's just got a cool sci-fi story, and it's awesome. I'm getting ready to start rewatching these within the next couple of weeks to get
One,
ready
I can
for the
understand watching the
new
first
one.
one. But, ugh.
Oh no, I'm
Ugh.
gonna watch them all. I'm probably gonna watch the Animatrix too, even though it's
Okay.
boring, but
Yeah,
it
I
has
mean, for me, Matrix, I mean, it's a movie that really, I mean, it came out in 1999. Visually, it still looks great. The action scenes are great. Great characters between Neo? Is it Neo?
Neo. Yep.
Okay, I was thinking Nero, but it's
Trinity.
Neo. Trinity, Morbius, and the villain, Mr. Smith, played by Hugo Weaving, is such a good character. We've been
Yep.
looking for you, Mr. Anderson. And then like the moment whenever he has the power, everybody starts going in slow motion for him, and he's like, how's he doing that? He's like, he's the one. And I don't know how I feel about the sequel coming out. I know that it's a good movie trailer, the new one, but
It
I
is.
do not believe it's going to be good. I have no faith that this Matrix 4 is going to be a good movie. And it's because of how many good movies has the Wachowskis, wherever they are, made since the first Matrix movie came out.
I mean, they've made a couple ones. I don't hate on the Wachowskis as bad as you. I mean, their
I'm
Phantom
just
movie
saying
where
none
they
of the movies are good though. I mean, I know you like Jupiter Ascending, but
do.
it's
It's
not a good
not.
movie.
It's not great. I like it. It's cheesy, but I
Right.
like a Speed Racer. I like V for Vendetta, even
Yeah,
though
but they didn't direct that.
I know technically. And then I hated Cloud Atlas. They're one of those ones that I don't know, but I think that when I go back to watch, because it's been a while since I've watched the other Matrix movies, and you're right, the first one's great, the other ones are not that great. I have a feeling when I rewatch them, I'm not going to hate them as much. Uh, I think they're gonna hold up better than I remember. But maybe not. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, good
And
luck with that.
Animatrix is fantastic, and they were very involved with that as well. So
There's a YouTube thing I'll have to share to you. It's from the guys that did How It Should Have Ended.
yeah,
And it's what if Forrest Gump was the main character instead of Neo?
okay. I don't think I would have liked it.
It's fun. It's a funny little video. He's like Forrest Gump during the day. It's a funny thing. I'll have to share it to you. It's pretty funny. So yeah, what's your number one?
My number one is a punt from way back. It's Dawn of the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, I mean, this is a damn good movie. It's just, there's more sci-fi stuff layered down the list.
I
So
mean, much
I
more
know, I know, I
sci-fi.
know. It's talking apes, but I think more like flying ships to this might all just be a simulation. It's for me, it's a little more sci-fi than talking apes. I know, I know.
I freaking love this movie. As somebody who's not a huge fan of the classic Planet of the Apes movies, they're way too old for me. And when the Marky Mark cheesy catastrophe that
Abraham
is,
Lincoln.
yeah, this one right here. And then I enjoyed Rise of the Planet of the Apes, but this movie really just like blows me away because it's so good. And yeah, I mean, you probably do better at talking about it than me, but it's just got so much heart and so much cool stuff in it. And Andy Serkis is just fan-freaking-tastic in it. And this is why, pretty much, this is the movie why we're getting a Matt Reeves Batman next year, because he did so good with this film, and it just took it to a whole nother level. Because Rise of the Planet of the Apes was good. This great. This is great.
I think Rise though is the second best movie of the Apes series. So I mean, I go Dawn, Rise, and War. I mean,
to me, it's just a huge.
They're all three great movies. It's one of those films that I would love to do. When we get to it, maybe next year, maybe do some Easy Cajun reviews of that trilogy as well. But I love this movie. I mean, I love how it starts out where you don't even see the humans for the first 20 minutes of the movie, and you're seeing this world that they have created, and it's something that Michael Bay never learned. And it's make the movie about the apes, not the humans, or make it about what the actual movies is called. And the movie just does such a good job, and how the apes started the war. Koba he was this good, reliable guy, but when he sees a human for the first time in over 10 years, he snaps because of what the humans did to him, to his psyche, and he just can't handle it. And it's something that it's human behavior in the closest thing that it's a human. And for an ape to act more like a human than the humans did this movie is what makes this movie so special. And human characters are great, but like I said, they're not the stars. It's about Caesar and his family, and apes together. Frogs, apes on horses. Like the thing I always remember in this movie is when the Koa is on the horse jumping out of fire with double machine guns. There's damn, this movie is awesome. I love this movie.
Yeah, it's pretty great. I'm still holding out hope that our final Jurassic World movie will deliver something similar to what this movie delivers.
Well, you're going to be wrong.
I know it's a big dream, but that's just what I always wanted when Jurassic World first came out. I was like, ooh, I want them to do what they did with Planet of the Apes.
No, you didn't.
Heck yeah.
It was only recently when we saw the Planet of the Apes movies, you're just like, man, it'd be cool if Jurassic Park would do that.
Yeah.
After the last recent years. So
this came out in 2014. Right. Jurassic World came out in 2015.
No, the way I understood when you said Jurassic Park first came out. So
no.
Back
Jurassic
in the
World.
90s. Okay.
No. Yeah, okay. No, when Jurassic World came out and we were like, oh, we're opening the park again. Okay. And then after that movie, I was like, oh, you know what would be cool is if they did like a Dawn of the Planet of the Apes thing. Yeah, and then at the end of the last movie, we teased at Fallen Kingdom that is what we're hopefully gonna get. But we'll see. No. But yeah,
what's that last Jurassic Park movie
this summer called? Coming up?
Oh, what's it called?
I done forgot. I'll search it.
Fallen Empire or Jurassic World Genocide.
Oh, you're coming up with some good ones. Oh my goodness, what is it called? Dominion. Jurassic World Dominion.
I like Genocide better, personally. All right, guys, let's that's our both separate lists. Now let's create our list together. So you had Matrix at 2, I had it 1, so obviously Matrix goes number 1.
I like it, but I don't. We will flip a coin to decide.
No,
we will.
All right, I put Dawn of the Planet of the Apes at 2.
Okay, is that our only similar movie?
And then I'm gonna put Terminator 2 at 4. So because I had it at 4, you had it at 5, so it's close enough to put it at 4.
Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom.
All right, so I had Blade Runner 2049 at 2, and your number 2 was Matrix. So I'm gonna put Blade Runner 2049 at 3.
Yep, beats me.
So that's what you get for not putting Matrix at 1, because then it would have been a little bit of a better argument.
Yep.
Okay, so I had Jurassic Park at 3. You had Minority Report, so I'll put Minority Report at 5.
Okay.
And then I'll put Jurassic Park at 6.
Okay.
All right. What was your number 4?
Children of Men.
Okay. All right. I had Arrival at 5. So I'm going to put that at 8.
Yep.
All right. So all that's left is our number 6. And we'll put. So what was your number 6?
Edge of Tomorrow.
Okay. So I'll throw Edge of Tomorrow at 9.
It's an easy list to make there.
And I'm going with Iron Giant at 10. All
like
right, let's announce it to the Easy Case fans.
Ooh.
The top 10! The top 10 sci-fi movies set on Earth! Yeah! I forgot the title. At number 10, The Iron Giant. At number 9, Edge of Tomorrow, or Live, Die, Repeat, or All You Need Is Kill. So many damn titles. At number 8, Arrival. At number 7, Children of Men. At number 6, Jurassic Park. At number 5, Minority Report. At number 4, Terminator 2, Judgment Day. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. At number 3, Blade Runner 2049. At number 2, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. And the number 1 best sci-fi movie set on Earth is The Matrix. All right, that's our list of honorable mentions.
Heck yeah. I had District 9. It's a good movie. Blade Runner 2049, RoboCop. I'm a sucker for RoboCop. E.T.
on your list for once.
Men in Black. That would have been one of them comedies you were talking about, sci-fi comedies.
Yeah, there you go.
Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. It's a great movie. Got a little sci-fi
on your list.
Yeah. Her. I like that movie. It's a great movie about.
But it's not even sci-fi anymore.
It is sci-fi. That we are.
No, I'm just saying though, because we're at that
level.
point where that could actually be a
we're
thing.
Close.
Right now.
We're close.
So.
The Mitchells versus the Machines was my one animated movie it came out this year and I didn't want to put it in there. AI, another Spielberg movie that I don't know if you've seen or not.
That's Stanley Kubrick, isn't it?
Steven Spielberg did half the movie and he has director's credit on it.
Okay.
But you should check it out. It's pretty good. It's a long movie, but there's a lot of stuff in there that I do really like. And then Ready Player One that I added at the end there because you mentioned it and I was like, oh yeah, that's a good one. But probably wouldn't have made my top 10 either. So yeah, those are my honorables.
So I didn't have as many honorables as I should have had, but I was thinking you mentioned Inception, and that definitely would have made my list. Probably the bottom. It would probably kick ET out the list. But I also had Children of Man. I had 12 Monkeys, movie that I really like. That you every time we talk about it, you always say, "Oh, I haven't seen that."
Yeah,
you have.
I know. You just don't remember it.
The World's End, the final movie of the Credential trilogy. Cloverfield is a cool sci-fi movie with basically a monster attack. I mean, and the movie that really got Matt Reeves his start. Predator, the Arnold Schwarzenegger Predator, the only person in movie cinema to kick Arnold's ass. And then I didn't put it down. I should have. Back to the Future. I mean, that's definitely a sci-fi movie set on Earth. So I don't know how I didn't put that movie on my list because that would have made my list. So yeah, guys.
It's a Pipco.
So I just was looking at bad sites, I guess, for my top 10. Oh well. So guys, I hope you guys enjoyed episode 155 of the Easy Case Show. You can check us out here every week on Sunday, where we'll hopefully, maybe next week, please, for the love of God, talk about Lord of the Rings, the Fellowship of the Ring, so I can stop advertising. I have a picture in
It's gonna start being a
Cage.
running joke.
I have a picture on the Easy Cage folder on my desk in my computer that I keep having to change the numbers of because we've pushed this episode back for like 2 months now. So it's like this is becoming like a Jimmy Kimmel skit. Next week we'll be. Sorry we didn't have enough time for you, Matt David, but we'll get you next time. It's basically Lord of the Rings. Aragon's going to come to your house and just chop your head off. So hopefully next week we will watch Lord of the Rings. If not, I don't know what the hell we're going to be doing. So the pressure is on you, Brady. As I go off having fun in New York, you go and watch Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring, and go visit the North again.
We'll see.
All right, guys. Make sure you check out Randy Cage at his letterbox thing. You can probably check out his review of Eternals. It may be online right now. Is it Randy Cage?
Not yet.
It is not, but you can read all his other reviews, like Last Night in Soho, right, Randy Cage?
No, haven't seen that one yet either.
Oh, okay. You can check out a review of Scott Pilgrim versus the World or something.
Yes.
I don't know. Guys, also, you can check out my main Dorothy YouTube channel. You can check out all my movie reviews. I just posted a review of Eternals. And let me just say, according to that check I just got yesterday, it is a masterpiece. The greatest movie of all time.
Best Marvel movie since Endgame. Best movie since Endgame.
Yeah. So, guys, until next week, all too easy.
Peace out.